Welcome on in, my Ashwings, to another installment of the Silver Age A to Z series. My name is Alex, and today we are taking a look at Dash, the original mechanologist of Flesh and Blood, and easily one of the best heroes that I tend to get people into this game with, because a lot of the mechanologist effects are take the top card of your deck, put it in your banish zone, your attack gets go again. The deck. That's it. But this deck does have some intricacies, and so I at least wanted to go ahead and talk about that, talk about how I build the deck, and also just fun little things you get to do in regards to changing things up and how she usually plays. This is a very hyper-aggressive deck. You're pretty much always wanting to have your foot on the gas and sending all your damage at your opponent in order to really just kind of push through their defenses here. So what I wanted to go ahead and talk about is her ability first, which is just you start the game with a mechanologist item with cost 2 or less in the arena. Always your option is going to be Hyperdriver. Like 95% of your time, it's going to be Hyperdriver. The reason why you want to start with this is because you do get a resource every single time you boost. So if you are going first, you're going to start with a Hyperdriver, and then most of the time you could probably even just do something with your we'll talk about some other stuff there. Initially, you're going to want to always start with a Hyperdriver. If you're playing against a wizard, though, more specifically like a Kano, you're going to want to play Boom Grenade, because this just kills them. They just cannot block out enough at the beginning of the turn, and a Boom Grenade can threaten a little bit there. There's a world in which maybe Hyperdriver still is the choice and Boom Grenade just leaves entirely, but sometimes you just want to play Boom Grenade, and Boom Grenade threatens a lot of damage. So especially in a 20 health format, it's quite a bit. So taking a look here at the equipment, we have Blade Back in our helmet. This is just the best equipment suite in the format currently, so can't not have it. We have Garland of Spring to get us a resource should we ever need one. We have Bracers of Belief, huge value here because most of your stuff is reds in your deck. So when you flip over the top card and it's a red, your next attack will usually just get +2 because it's 3 minus the pitch value of the card revealed on the top. So that's not too bad. +2 is pretty much what you would give, with Goliath Gauntlet anyway. So Bracers of Belief kind of hits the same note there. And then Achilles Accelerator is our way to kind of attack again after we've already attacked with our weapon. Usually some people will think that we're trying to keep a card for Arsenal after we attack with something like our weapon, but we can go ahead and fake them out, and then we can just send another card afterwards, which is pretty good. Talishar is our weapon here. This is not a mechanologist weapon. You'll see this is a generic weapon sword. The reason we're running this is because 2 resources, it comes in for a breakpoint, and it's really just threatening more damage. The cost curve ends up working out really well with this card. And so you end up being able to have the resources to send Talishar at the end of your turn. Unfortunately, you can only send Talishar 3 times in the game. Once it gets 3 rust counters on it, it is destroyed. So you kind of want to make sure to put on that pressure really early and then keep your focus throughout the course of the game. Taking a look at the main deck, though, of course, we've got that Boom Grenade, which you can swap out for a lot of stuff in the sideboard should you ever just not wish to have another no block in the deck. You have your Rainbow Crankshafts. The reason we have these is specifically for the Hyperdriver. Hyperdriver is just anytime you boost a card from the top of your deck that is one of these Crankshafts or a card that has the same text as this, you'll get a counter on Hyperdriver. Just means it stays around longer. We have 8 cards to boost off of the top of your deck to get this kind of counter. So you should see them, hopefully, right? Unless you're really unlucky, you should see them. Dive Through Data is a 1 for 4. It lets you opt. So if you see that maybe there's a card on top that you would rather have in your hand, you can always go ahead and bottom that card, and then that way the next time you boost, you're not gonna opt to, you're not gonna boost away a card you don't like. As I mentioned, Hyperdriver gets you a free resource when you boost for the first time, so super big. You then also have jump starts. These cost less if you have a Hyperdriver out. So this is a zipper hit value effectively, so long as you have a Hyperdriver. So the importance of keeping that Hyperdriver around is really good. Lay Waste and Outpace are super great cards because they say they can't be defended by equipment. This is a format in which you have a lot of heroes that like to block with their equipment. Worst case scenario, this is a 2 for 5 kind of bad rate, but you get a resource back if you're boosting, so it's not the end of the world. But making sure that things can't be defended by equipment, do at least force a lot of stuff out of your opponent, you know. Boom grenade turns become better if your opponent can't block with equipment. You get to force cards from your opponent's hand, and these come in for 5 and 4 respectively, so it's just kind of really good. We do also have recharge. This is you put a steam Kynar on a hyperdriver you control. The next attack you boost this turn gets +4, so you get a buff, and you also get a hyperdriver thing there. And you can utilize, if you have a recharge, I suggest playing Garland of Spring in that. So you can play the recharge, not have to pitch a card from hand, and then you get to go ahead and just send the attack for like 8 or 9 or whatever, and then move on from there. We have a rev up. This is a 2 for 6 if you have a hyperdriver, but it also blocks 3. Everything in here blocks 3 too, besides like some of the buffs and the items. So it's always a great deck to defend with, but you're usually not going to want to defend because your damage is really high. We're running the red and the blue T-Bone. This is just because if our opponent is trying to use armor, you know, if they have like Blade Break armor, this is going to be awesome. If they have Temper armor, it's even better because we get to go ahead and just rip their armor from them. If they have Battle Worn armor, they'll probably be using it. That'll probably be the thing that takes it up. But if you end up getting like 2 T-Bones in your hand, you can T-Bone and then T-Bone again to try and rip more armor from them. We are running the red and blue copies of Throttle, mainly because of cost curve, and also it's a 2 for 6 that gets go again, so value there. 0 to 60, we are on the reds and the blues. I think there's a world in which I probably run the yellows as well, but I haven't really found room. Maybe get rid of the rev up and instead put in the yellows. Probably not bad ones there. And then, of course, zipper hit. We are running the reds and the yellow zipper hits. This is just pure value. It comes in for breakpoints, the whole 9, so kind of what we want to do. And then Big Bertha is our other Crankshaft. This is just the same card as Crankshaft, but it costs 1 more. You're going to hope to boost these, but they also pitch for resources and block for 3. So if you have that opportunity, you can do that. And then in our inventory, we do have High Speed Impact. This is in case our opponent is on a very block heavy kind of deck. We can play High Speed Impact to try and bait out more cards from their deck. Because if they don't have a block card that blocks for 4, they instead have to give us 2 cards or a card and a piece of equipment to block this out, because the next thing I play is going to get Dominate. Now, that's usually something along the lines of playing like a Throttle with Dominate, or a Crankshaft with Dominate. And anything really theoretically that we can do there. But you pretty much, it's the next attack you boost, so you have to boost that attack. So it is very important to have. I'm not sure how much this card is really worth it from its effect standpoint, but it is at least something to threaten more damage at your opponent if they're like trying to really block. Overblast is a great way to kind of end your combat chain here. A lot of the stuff, if you just end up sending a lot of these 0 for 4s or these 1 for 4s, eventually you're going to have the resources to then just send an Overblast. This comes in for X plus the amount here, based on how many times you boosted. So if you boosted 3 this combat chain, and then you have 2 resources floating at the end of your turn, you can send this in. Comes in for 8, which is a lot of damage in this format. So especially if your opponent is trying to, if they're trying to block a whole lot, this is a great card to play into them because you are kind of getting over their defenses there. And then, of course, Payload is a great game ender here. This is just, if you boosted the combat chain, it gets Dominate. This is a great way to close out the game into your opponents. And then you have Yellow T-Bone, which probably could be Yellow 0 to 60 again, like we talked about. But I think even if your opponent is on even bigger, like Guardian defensive package, Yellow T-Bones aren't bad to bring in either. So you can strip them of their armor, so they have to start blocking with their hand. We also have a Null Rune Hood in case we want to get another point of Arcane Barrier. And then the Plasma Barrel Shot, which is the other weapon in this deck. So how I run this deck is that if I'm going first, I am always going to be playing Plasma Barrel Shot because I get to go ahead and load it, put something in Arsenal, and then pass. And then if I'm going second, I get to play Talishar. Talishar will allow me to just go ahead and send that damage off of a full grip and continue to push into my opponent. what you want into your opponent differs, right? If your opponent's a Runeblade, you probably want to go first. Just that way they're not setting up anything. And you can still load that weapon and then fire everything and get an arsenal. But if you're chosen to go first, you still want to do that just because you want to get the full value of making a plasma barrel shot. So that's my whole thing there. So that's Dash in a nutshell. Let me show you how easy this deck runs in the Silver Age queue and see if we can blow some people up. Before we move into gameplay, I wanted to give a shout out to my channel members for the support they provide. Each channel member is provided with their own role in our Discord server, as well as access to the Common Language Podcast livestream every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. With 3 tiers of membership, copper, silver, and gold, you can choose to support my channel in any way you wish at a reasonable price point. Supporting this channel by being a channel member helps keep the lights on, keeps your favorite content creator fed, and of course, allows for me to offer more to you all as a thank you for your continued support. There is a link in the description of this video to become a channel member, and if you choose to support the channel this way, just know that it does truly mean the world to me that you are willing to do that. Don't feel pressured though. Even just subscribing and interacting with my content helps. So thank you again to our channel members for your support, and back to the video. All right, it's an Ira. I think we go second on this match here, actually. Ira's pretty rough. I think we probably play the Overblasts and the payloads here. They're going to have battle-worn equipment, so we might even get rid of the... Let's see, we're definitely going to get rid of a Boom Grenade. We'll get rid of the Rev-Ups, and then maybe we'll get rid of a Blue T-Bone. Yeah, that'll be fine. Because we really are just trying to push a lot of stuff here. So let's send it and see how it works. All right, so we're going to choose Hyperdriver as our equipment, or as our item, because that's what we do. And again, we're going second, so we effectively just get to go ahead and block out their attacks. I kind of want to keep this recharge here because we have a pretty good hand, but again, we're blocking this turn. So I think I'm fine taking the 1 here just in case they do have a thing. They are playing yellow Wax On, which kind of sucks. No, I should probably give this recharge here because I don't want to pop armor that early. I have another recharge in deck. I can just block that out. 7. Okay. I don't want to give both of my 0 to 60s, so I'm just going to give 2 here. That's fine. All right. So they leaked 2 damage through. We have a pretty solid turn here, I think. So we are going to start off with a jumpstart pitching. I am going to boost. So we're going to send 5, and then we're going to send 3, then we're going to send 4, then we're going to send 4. So they're either going to have to give us a whole ton of armor here, which I'd hope they give the armor on one of these here, so that way Talishar gets the full value, full brunt of it. The downfall here is that keeping them off of a full hand is kind of like rough. I am going to want to boost here. And again, we're also trying to look for those crankshafts and the big Berthas off the top here too, just because we do want to make sure that we are, getting more counters on our hyperdriver. Okay, so they're going to take 2 here. Send 4, boost. Got a payload off the top. Kind of rough. What have we gone? 2 zipper hits. That's kind of rough. They get a tiger. They leak some more damage. I wonder if they're going to give me... They're not going to give me both their Blade Beckoners on this, right? Huh. Okay, they're just going to give 1? Sure. Well, see, we don't want them in our hand, but this actually isn't a terrible hand. I'm not going to lie. This is kind of fine. This is kind of fine. I think we could probably block that. I'd rather block out like an on hit or something. especially if there's a freaking, what do you call it? Bittering Thorns. Cut through kind of sucks. So we're sending 6 into 5 into Talishar. 654. I don't know. Let's just get the 1 block off here. If that's a snatch, I'm gonna cry. Nope, Kodachi. Sure. Keep your arsenal. 5. Well, you're not gonna get to do anything with that, so that's whatever. Okay. This turn we might actually just risk the bracers here. What do we do if we do this too, right? Because this, we can pop this. We can play the jumpstart, get a free resource, send throttle, send crankshaft. Is that our resource curve here? Pay this for free. Let's see here. Thank you, please bear with me. So it's send this for free, get a resource. This comes in with 1 pitching this. So we have 2 floating resources. And then we can send a crankshaft for 4 as opposed to Talishar for 4. Not terrible. Keeps them off of an equipment block, I think. But we really want to wait for the recharge, I think. So we're just going to bracers here. We did get a red off the top, so that's awesome for us. Let's go ahead and just send a throttle for 8. Yep, throttle for 8. That's what we want to do. They're down. They have 2 block here, technically. We are going to send a Talishar, so we're still going to try and push that damage there. They're going to want to keep most of their hand. Worst case scenario, they keep a blue. Okay, that's awesome for us. I will boost. We did get a big Bertha, so we get another counter on our hyperdriver. Keeps it around for another turn. And we got their armor piece here. That's awesome. So yeah, we did have the 1 floating resource here. I could just send, I think I'm just going to have to send this. Yeah, we're just going to have to send 4. Because they already block with their armor piece, so I'd much rather try and get them to 1. They're going to have to give me 1 more card. Which feels super good for me. So we really, again, we push their defenses really, really hard here. And we're getting good value off the Talishar opportunity because they did block with their equipment here. So they're going to give me 2. Keep 2 cards in their hand. They go down to 3. I draw up, hopefully into a recharge. No, a bunch of blues too. But, oh, well, not really. We'll block here. And then 2 into something with 4. I guess you could probably swing the daggers. 4. Snatch. Yeah, no, I think you still die. Because my hand is going to be throttle, crankshaft. I guess I could T-bone. No. Yeah, throttle, zipper hit. Well, because I have to pitch into Talishar. So no, we take 4 here. We take 4 here. And then we just go ahead and, I mean, maybe we can do something else. I think we just pop. This is our last turn of the game. Like, we just have no choice. Because we are going to get a thing. So actually, we are going to do this. We're going to pop this. We are going to swing this into this. I will boost. Yes. So 6. You're going to have to give me 2 cards or die, which is what I like to see. Oh. Oh, well, that's not good for you. I do want to boost, and then we can send the T-Bone for 1, and then we can send the Talishar for 4. You don't have it. Good game. Even bigger than that. See, that's a crazy thing here too. Good game. So you'll see that's kind of Dash in a nutshell. these numbers don't lie. 16, 17, we were dealing 11. Theoretically on that turn, we were dealing, we dealt 6 into 5, which is 11, into 12, into 16 on that turn. And that's just kind of the power of like just pushing damage. Really, I mean, the Braces of Belief worked out great for us because we were able to get full value off of it for Throttle. And then we're just able to send a ton of damage. Now, I think there's a world in which like maybe something like a Techloplasma Pistol might be fine for the deck if you're trying to just kind of always get a second ping. Or always trying to get a ping of damage, but that only comes in for it doesn't break after 3 shots, but you do have to load it every single turn. So, but it's only for 1. There's a world in which I think Techloplasma Pistol probably would be fine if you're not comfortable playing Talishar, but your cost curve always gives you 2. Like, as you saw, I mean, there was not a turn in which I don't think I was able to swing Talishar ever. So I think there's a world just being able to send this kind of damage at your opponent's pretty good. The even bigger than that's in here are kind of rough. Having no blocks in your deck feels bad. That's why I take the Boom Grenade out whenever I'm just playing one item, because I cannot have a no block in my hand. That just hurts me so bad. But yeah, so that's Dash. So hopefully you enjoyed today's episode of the Silver Age A to Z series with Dash. If you did, go ahead and leave a comment down below. Let me know how you felt about the deck. If this is something that you've tried out also, or you have any other tweaks, feel free to let me know. I'd always be happy to have a discussion about sideboard stuff. Like the video if you have not already, and subscribe too. And that all helps the channel. We're moving on up to almost 3,000 subscribers super quickly. So thank you all so much for your continued support. It certainly means a lot. And for anybody who wishes to become a channel member, we do have that channel member link in the description of the video. So if you do wish to support the channel in that way, feel free to do so. It's certainly I appreciate the hell out of it, but of course, right, it's not necessary. I simply just wanted to let people know about it, and yeah, that'll be awesome. So anyway, thank you for watching. Thank you for hanging out with me today, and I hope you continue to have fun in the flesh and blood. And I will see all of you beautiful Ashwings in our next installment of the Silver Age A to Z series.